A Channel 3 investigation has led to a change in Chattanooga Police Department policy. We asked how a Chattanooga police officer spent 20 months driving a squad car and working without a valid driver's license.
At 6, we showed you Chattanooga police officer Lee Mayweather writing tickets while he was driving on a revoked license. Our investigation revealed his license was reinstated in March of this year once he caught up on child support payments. But for more than a year and a half, the police department claims the officer was unaware of the issue. A local juvenile court administrator says it's hard to believe it got overlooked. In part 2 of our series, the police department responds to our investigation by Eyewitness News reporter Dan Kennedy and producer Beth Berger.
Our officers have received tickets for red light cameras and for speed cameras, and they're held accountable for them. Officers are accountable to the same laws. In fact, we expect them to stand to a higher standard. I think I just told all my officers that just very recently.
Chattanooga Police Chief Fletcher is entering his second month on the job. This story originates well before his time, when Officer Lee Mayweather had his license revoked in July of 2012 for failure to pay child support, and not reinstated until this past March. But still, Fletcher is answering to the allegations.
In this particular instance, I was told by my predecessors that they investigated the case, and it appeared that the officer did this unknowingly and unwittingly. So he was counseled and reminded how to process this to make sure that it doesn't happen in the future.
At CPD, officers go through lineup inspections where everything is checked from uniform and appearance to equipment and firearms. But a revoked driver's license doesn't mean the state physically takes it away from you. The only way to know if it's invalid is if it's scanned. And that's one thing the department hasn't done until now. When we brought this story to the police department, they drafted an amendment to a long-standing inspection policy. It reads, each employee will have an annual check for status on their driver's license, as well as a check for active warrants. And problems will be addressed then and there. Fletcher says it's a better set of checks and balances.
I'm very confident that there will be fewer opportunities for this to occur, and when they do occur, people who violate policy or law knowingly will be held accountable. Folks that do it inadvertently will be educated and trained.
Will that include sergeants and lieutenants and captains?
Well, it'll include me.
An all-inclusive policy that took effect July 23rd, with intentions to make sure such an oversight never happens again. We wanted to know about the other officers on the force. Channel 3 ran the status of their driver's licenses and found Mayweather was the only officer who did not have a valid driver's license in the past 5 years. This appears to be an isolated incident. Officer Mayweather, who chose not to comment, is far from the only person who has driven on a revoked or suspended license. When pulled over, violators are either fined or taken to jail. Already this year, more than 1,500 people have been cited to court for driver's license violations. But as for Mayweather, he was never punished by the force, only given a verbal reminder. In the studio, Dan Kennedy, Channel 3 Eyewitness News.
And there's a lot more details to this story you may want to see for yourself, including how the issue came to light. You can check out the full version online at WRCBTV.com, and that's where you can also watch part 1 of this 3 Investigates story.